Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Larry Tracy, and I'm proud to serve as President of Memorial Hospital of South Bend. We're part of Beacon Health System in northern Indiana. But today I'm here on behalf of the Indiana Hospital Association to testify in support of House Bill 1040, and I want to thank the chair for her work on this important bill. I was part of that effort in 23 and 24 that brought enhanced criminal penalties for violence against associates in the emergency department. And I greatly appreciate the efforts of the General Assembly on that bill. You know, after that bill was enacted, I heard a lot of feedback across the hospital. And for those who were working within the emergency department, there was a deep sense of gratitude. The rest of the hospital and the health system, the response was, what about us? What about the violence that we're experiencing on a regular basis? And as I reflect on that feedback and my over 25 years of experience in healthcare, I know that workplace violence doesn't just happen inside our emergency departments. And that's why I'm supportive of House Bill 1040 and taking the next incremental step to cover beyond the emergency department. To give you some perspective for Memorial Hospital, in 2025, we had 263 documented emergency calls for assistance. Our police department, unfortunately, had to make 134 arrests, which was up 33% from the year prior, and 26 referrals to our local prosecutor. We had 35 instances of battery that resulted in harm, and that was up 35% from the prior year. We had 22 instances of disorderly conduct, 25 instances of intimidation, which was up 67%. Unfortunately, even more unfortunately, 8 sexual assaults, which was a 100% increase from the prior year. And I'm very confident, as my colleagues prior to me have stated, that these numbers are underreported, despite the fact that we are an organization that, consistent with our clinical approach to reporting, also require and facilitate timely reporting of these incidences. I became more acutely aware of the violence that happens a couple of years ago when it started coming into my own home. As 2 of my adult children are engaged or were engaged in the healthcare workforce. And while one continues to remain on her path to be an occupational therapist, the other one told me over dinner one evening, "Dad, I'm done." And she explained to me what happened and the violence that occurred in the room. And all she was doing is she was merely a patient sitter. Her job was to ensure the safety of that patient. And she experienced workplace violence that she no longer could tolerate, so now she's chosen a different path. And folks, that person, that's the generation that's going to be taking care of all of us as we age and accelerate our visits to the hospital. I want to share with you an event that happened this year to give you a sense of what we're dealing with. We had a patient who was being cared for by a patient care assistant, which is an individual that was not covered by the criminal penalty enhancements when this incident occurred, because it happened outside of the ED. It happened on one of our patient floors. In this unfortunate incident, the patient became increasingly aggressive, used increasingly appropriate sexual language, and then forcefully grabbed her in parts that I don't want to describe, but they were sexual in nature, in a very aggressive fashion. And when our police department interviewed the patient afterwards, the patient stated, quote, "It was a good thing the door to my room was open, or I would have done worse to her." I share this with you because it happens far too often, as my colleagues have mentioned before me. And yet the safety of our healthcare providers is essential to delivering that high quality and safe patient care that you come to expect when you and your family members walk through our doors. But when our providers do not feel safe, it can lead to medical errors, it definitely contributes to burnout, and ultimately it leads to turnover in the form of people leaving the healthcare workforce. I also want to share with you that in the healthcare community, I know that this is just one part of a multi-pronged approach to ensure the safety of our workforce. I serve as the chair of the Council on Quality and Patient Safety for the IHA, and our statewide efforts have included the safety of our healthcare teams. IHA is also currently undergoing a pilot program to collect workplace violent incidents in a systematic and standardized way, one of the very first in the country at the state level, and we hope to roll it out to all membership later this year. Healthcare organizations across our state have also invested heavily on an individual level to ensure that the safety of our workforce. At Memorial and Beacon, those investments have included assessment tools to identify patients who are prone to violence, formation of a behavioral emergency response team led by a dedicated nurse, wearable panic alarms in specific departments, regular drills to help prepare in case of a violent event, de-escalation training, threat detection systems at our ED and main entrances, and much more. Before I close, I want to emphasize that our efforts to ensure the safety of our workforce is a never-ending journey, but we need your help. We know House Bill 1040 will not fix the problem in its entirety, but it demonstrates to our healthcare workforce that we see them, that we stand with them, and we will not tolerate violence against them as we continue to implement other strategies within Beacon and across the state. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.